Data brokers sell your information to scammers, spammers, and anyone else who may want to target you. Your full name, email, home address, health records, even your relatives' information, it's all out there. That's why I've been using Aura, the sponsor of today's video. Kenmains here from unsolvednomore. Listen, every once in a while, a product comes along that changes the game. That's Aura. It's so easy to set up. I did it in under 3 minutes. Listen, my family is my number one priority. Keeping them safe. It's your priority too. That's why I partnered with Aura. 24/7 monitoring, parental controls, antivirus, and so much more in one app. Listen, you guys know I'm huge on integrity, and I would never endorse something that I did not personally use or believe in. And that's why I'm asking you to sign up for a free 2-week trial of Aura. Just go to the link below in the comments, in the description, www.aura.com/unsolvednomore. Sign up for your 2-week free trial and get the protection that you and your family deserves.
Yeah, let's talk about fears. Yeah, let's talk about love. Yeah, I got fears, but I ain't got no love.
Okay, welcome back to the show, Mystery at Carlsbad Tavern. Today, what I want to talk about is troopers. And by troopers, I don't mean stormtroopers. Never was a big fan of Star Wars. To me, you were either a Rocky fan or Star Wars fan. It's like you're either an Elvis fan or a Beatles fan. But anyhow, I digress. Troopers. The Pennsylvania State Police. And in particular, the ones that worked this case and how it came about. So this is my understanding. And then I've seen this work in other cases where a municipality has the case. Let's say, in this instance, Spring Township Police. It's their jurisdiction. They respond, and at some point in time, the state police will never ask for it, just like the FBI never asks for it. You have to be invited in. So at some point in time, Spring Township says, hey, we've done everything we can do. We're asking for help. At that point, the troopers will come in. They'll send a couple criminal investigators in to help the case. They're secondary. Then at some point, their Spring Township or the municipality will say, we're at our wits' end. We don't know what to do. We're giving the case to you. I seem to think that happened with the Ray Greekar case as well. I'm not 1,000% sure, but I think the same thing happened. So I've seen that happen also between police departments and district attorney's office. A big case that happened with was John Benet Ramsey, where you have the, I forget what it is now, Colorado Springs Police maybe, or no, it was Boulder Police Department, I think, and then you have the Boulder County DA, and you have detectives in both, and sometimes they butt heads, sometimes they get along. Jurisdiction and egos are a big thing. I don't think they are at all in this Brenda Condon investigation, but I've seen it before. The case that I worked on, Williamsport Police, they had the Gail Matthews, Tamara Burkheiser murder, and I was with Williamsport. They didn't let me work on it, even though I had solved the Don Miller case. You know, I was a dope cop, was the exact words of the captain. I think you can do it, but blah, blah, blah. Anyhow, I ended up quitting Williamsport Police, going to work for the district attorney who hired me and said, hey, I want you to work on the Gail Matthews murder. That's it. So he had the ultimate authority. So he basically told Williamsport police, hey, we have jurisdiction now. So the DA's office assumed, and they still have it, I believe. So in this case, at some point in time, I'm going to say late 90s, early 2000s, the Pennsylvania State Police took over the Brenda Condon investigation. With that being said, the last 2 weeks I have talked or met with several troopers who were involved in this case. And both the ones that I spoke with were, I knew one. I had some brief interaction with him before when I was a police officer and a detective. And the other one I didn't, but I explained to you about my meeting with that trooper. And just yesterday, I had another phone call with a trooper that had this case for about 11 years. And I have it written down, but I don't have it over here. But I want to say from like 2001 to 2011, something in that range, the trooper had the case. Again, he did not know a lot of specifics. Lights on, closing routine, who got interviewed there, that worked there, names of these people, the doorman, layout, pictures, and like he said, hey, it's been 15 years since I looked at that case, and I understand completely. But he was able to provide a name for me that I've never heard. And that's in conjunction with the name that I had told you about and an informant gave me when I went and interviewed them about being from out of town, working there. And I'll do a whole episode on that once I learn out more. And that Brenda was seeing this guy possibly who was in town for a job, staying at a hotel in Milesburg, going to Carlsbad. Again, not sure the validity of that. I have to vet that out. But I know the validity of this. This trooper told me that he gave me a name of somebody that was high up on his suspect list, and I had not heard that name before. This was somebody that was in Brenda's life that Brenda knew, and she had a sexual relationship with him. Surprising for me because I haven't heard that. But again, remember how I said there's things that are in those police reports that nobody knows about. And it might not be intentional. Like this. It's not that the police, were keeping it out intentionally because if somebody was to confess, it would ruin the integrity of the investigation. It's nothing like that. They're doing their due diligence. They're interviewing people, doing things, and in the course of their duties, they're making their reports and putting it in there. They have no reason to put that out to the public. Yeah, we interviewed so-and-so. He's a suspect. That just hurts the case. So they just do it. And this trooper liked him for this murder. And he does believe that she was murdered. Another specific question that I wanted the answer to, and I'm having a hard time getting it, is the amount of the check that Brenda cashed that day. Now, some people feel that that's irrelevant. I'm in the complete opposite direction of that. It is very important. She said it was for a car payment. And there's some discrepancy here that her car was paid off because of a previous accident that she had, and she got money from the insurance company for that. Regardless, she said it was for a car payment. And her aunt gave her the money. Unfortunately, the aunt is no longer here. The bank records that we checked only went back 15 years. So I'm not able to get that amount. But do you think that if the amount was $200 versus $2,000, that's a big difference? Of course it is, especially for 1991. So the information that I got from somebody that worked with Brenda's aunt was that it was $2,000. I got to find out whether that's fact or fiction, because that's important. What is she going to do with $2,000 cash? Is she going to pay off her car? You know, if she owed that much? All that stuff should be in the police reports. Don't know whether it is or not. But $2,000 is a lot of money, especially with somebody that's involved with using and selling drugs. Okay, and that money was never recovered. So, this is my dog Justice. I could hear his big retriever toenails climbing down the steps. He says hi. Yes, he's named appropriately for this case, Justice. He made me lose my train of thought, but I was talking about the money and the importance of it. So the troopers that I'm speaking with all have a general idea of the case, but they don't know specifics. And it's understandable. Okay, I get it. They have other cases that they're working on. But these are important facts that I need to know, especially going forward. So there's another trooper that I know for sure that took this case over. I would say probably in the 2015 time frame, 17. And I've worked with him before as well. Have not talked to him as of yet. But what I'm finding out is that people are willing to talk, but their memory is hazy. So we're going to do the best that we can going forward, whether it's talking to other law enforcement. Now, this specific episode, I wanted to talk about the troopers and the information that they give and how they became involved in this case and why they have the case now and Spring Township doesn't. Now, if Spring Township decided, hey, I'm going to open up this case, they would give a courtesy call to the state police. They would hash it out and, maybe both work it jointly, or one would say, go ahead. It all depends on the leadership, the captains, the crime corporal, and stuff like that. And whether it turn into a pissing match or not. I've seen it happen where it has. I've seen it happen where everything works beautifully together. But yes, I feel of all the cases that I've looked at, whether it's being hired by a family, whether it's been on the job, whether it's been research for a video that I've done in the past, state police do a better job than municipalities in general, without a doubt. Whether it's because their hiring standards are better, whether it's because their protocol is set in place, we're going to set up a roadblock, we're going to interview these people, it seems like it's regimented. It's a template, and they go through it, and they check off all the boxes. I've never seen a state police investigation where I was left by saying they don't know what they're doing. Never. Sometimes getting them motivated to do something has been an issue. But that's individualism. You can't hold a whole entity responsible. Like when people say, oh, I hate cops. I hate them because they had a bad interaction with one of them. You can't judge everybody by that one interaction. You can't hate a whole entity because, well, you can do whatever you want, but I think it's unfair. So in that aspect, again, it's just in general terms, I believe that state police do a better job. But again, that is also a little bit of individualism. In the Jolene Witt case, the initial police officer was a Muncie police officer, and I can't think of his name. I tell you, and now I understand with those troopers that when for age, your mind just kind of starts going a little bit. My mind used to be like a steel trap. I could remember things, and I still do, but every now and again I can't remember. But this Muncie police officer, he did I thought, by reading his reports at least, I had no reaction with him at the time. But reviewing the police reports, I thought he did a phenomenal job. Better than the troopers. Then the troopers came in, they took over the case, and they did the roadblocks. And they started interviewing people from everywhere. They interviewed everybody. So, again, individualism. It depends on who's working the case. It really does. You can't just say that one entity does better than another. So did I learn anything from the Pennsylvania State Police interviews that I did? Well, yeah, I think you have to. As a professional and anybody who grows, you have to take something from that. I took away, hey, these are two great people who provided a service and served and protected us for over 20 years, and I am grateful for that. They care, okay? They cared about this case, and they are both sorry that they couldn't do more, and I get that. They can't blame themselves. You can... Listen, what people don't understand is that cold cases are cold for a reason. They're difficult. There is no smoking gun. Just because someone solves a case on the second day, you can't hail them as the greatest detective in the world if the murder was captured on video and DNA was left on a gun at the crime scene. Well, hell, my 12-year-old daughter could solve that. It's the cold cases where there is no evidence. There is no motive. They become cold because they're difficult. So when these troopers tell me that they feel sorry, that they couldn't solve it for the kids and it's a regret, hey, I get it, okay? I have a case like that haunts me. But I know I gave it my best, and I'm not done trying, but, I've given it my best, and I moved the case forward. And that's all that you can do, and that's what these troopers did, okay? When they got the case, they worked it, they put in their 2 cents, hey, this is what I see, and these two troopers saw things differently. And that's something else that people have to understand about cold cases. Everybody sees it through different lenses. I tried to blend all that together when I created the American Investigative Society of Cold Cases. I wanted the criminal profiler's lens, the medical examiner's lens, the old detective's lens, the DNA scientist lens, all together. But what I found out, because I thought that that's what you need, that well-blended, well-rounded view. But I found it was very trying and very difficult because you were getting back 8 to 10 different theories, different people that were totally different. And you're like, well, how do you make sense of that? How can this one person see the same thing this person sees and come up with a totally different theory? Happens all the time. So I try to look at every angle, every lens. And like I said, these two troopers had different people that they thought were good for this. I'm not sure right now whether I agree with either of them, but we'll see. That could certainly change. I got a lead from this second trooper that I talked to that had the case for a number of years. He gave me a name. I have to follow that up. So, again, as I told you yesterday, things are progressing. Man, did I ever get a lot of information in yesterday. I think I found a waitress. Well, somebody found her for me. Listen, the community has been great, and I keep talking about this. But when I need something, I reach out to somebody from that community. They reach out to somebody, and it's a network, and it comes back. And I think I was able to find out the big question that I had was the doorman. Well, I think I figured that out. I think I know who it was, and I have a call in to hopefully speak with him. I found out more waitresses from the bar who I have calls into. Let's see how it's progressed now. I need to know who works there. I need to know if they're people's names. And now I got people that work there. And I got people's names. All that's being generated without a police report. Okay? That's how cold case investigations are done. They're more difficult. Sure, it'd be so much easy to flip open a murder book, flip through. Oh, this girl, she trained Brenda. Perfect. Let's go talk to her. I don't have that. So my job is a little bit harder. That's okay. Hard work never killed anyone. Well, I bet it has. But I'm a believer in hard work. If you work harder than the next person and you care more and have more passion than the next person, you'll be more successful than the next person. So that's what's going on right now. I had time this morning before it's nice out. I got a lot of yard work, a lot of sticks I got to pick up. I got a tractor I got to fix. I got a lot of stuff, and I got a nice day to do it. So I got up early this morning, 6 a.m. I started working on this case, putting some things together, things that I have to do. Again, with all this information coming in, and it's a lot, and it's good, which is perfect. I hate when information comes in, you got to sort it as bullshit. This isn't. Found out who Marco was, found out who the doorman was, as I said, persons that worked in the kitchen. I found the cook. I'm finding all these people. So now I have to organize all that, wrap it around up in here, make sense of it, and then move forward. So I got up this morning, took care of all that. Again, I have a TV show that I'm working that there's a bunch of murders that I have clues to that I have to make sense of. I got that done this morning. Sit down here, be able to do this for you guys. And then outside I go to do the real work. So it's never a dull moment. And at some point in there, I got to ride my Peloton bike and get some of this oldness out of me and convert the new me. Yeah, that sounds about right. So moving forward, this investigation is really surprising me. I got to be honest when I tell you that. There's people that have reached out to me that I have not let you guys know about. And they know who they are. And I'm appreciative of them. And this case is, just like Todd said, they've got more information, within the past 2 weeks when I've been doing this than they've gotten in 33 years. That's important. That's so important. And that's what I want to do. Provide them with the information. When I'm done with this investigation, the family, they get everything I have. Here's my notes. Here you go. You deserve that. Because what happens? I die. Where does all this investigation stuff go? Put in an attic, Then my kids get it and they're like, what is this? And they burn it. No, it's got to go to somebody. It's got to help somebody. So here, keep it. It's your family. Okay? You deserve it. Everything I do, all the work, you deserve it. So that's where it goes. Hopefully we're going to get some answers. I do feel confident about it, but I always like to temper my expectations in cold cases because, again, they're cold for a reason. They're difficult. And I've worked a few cold cases where I busted my ass for years, nose to the grindstone, and just never giving up, and you just hit brick wall after brick wall, and you bust them down, and then it still doesn't go anywhere. Sometimes it's because the leads do dry up, and sometimes it's because it's not what you know, it's what you can prove. You can, as a detective, you can have all the evidence you want. Let's say, for instance, the Don Miller case, which is a Center County case where a girl got murdered, and I solved that case. I took that information, a confession, with many other things, eyewitnesses, and I gave that to the Center County District Attorney at the time, Stacey Parks Miller, waiting for an arrest, and it never happened. Now, I don't have anything bad to say about Stacey Parks Miller. It's her call. I don't second guess a district attorney's decision, much like I don't want them to tell me how to investigate. She felt there isn't enough evidence there. I felt differently. So it's not, but that case is closed. It's solved. What's your definition of solved? I can tell you who did it, and I did. I went to the family, went to the mom. Hey, this is what happened in gruesome detail to your daughter. I don't know where she is. He took me there. They moved the body. She's not there. And he is not being arrested. His accomplice killed himself. She hugged me, and it was the best hug I ever got in my life besides my daughter when I came home 5 years ago from California. So again, it's not what you know, it's what you can prove. By the end of this investigation, I will have a theory of what I believe happened. And I will have evidence, whether it's circumstantial or it's direct physical evidence to back it up. I will give that to the state police, who's ever investigating it. I'll give it to Brenda's family. Here you go. It's up to them to decide whether it's enough or it's not. It might not be anything other than a theory. You can't convict on a theory. But with my theories, I will have reasons why. Everything is backed up. Whether she ran away, whether she was abducted, whether she was killed outside the bar, whether she was killed inside the bar, whether she overdosed on drugs on the inside of the bar, whether she overdosed on drugs inside a vehicle, whether she was taken by aliens, whatever it is, it'll be meticulously annotated so everybody knows. And it may or may not agree with the troopers or Spring Township. That's the way it works. That's what I do for a living. So I was gracious to get these interviews with the troopers. Again, general terms, it helped me. Specific terms, it did not. But I thank them for taking their time to meet with me, to providing me information, phone calls. And I just want to thank them for their time and effort, not only in the Brenda Condon case, but their decades of service as well. So that's it for this little episode called The Troopers. What I learned from them is, hey, one said she was a party girl. She was going to run away and come back, and she didn't. The other trooper says, no, I believe it's definitely foul play by somebody she knew. That's helpful. So with that said, Thanks for watching. Till next episode, Mains out.